In this video, we are breaking down a potential movement of Shiba coin. So without further delay, let's see what's going on with it today. Good morning, traders. Welcome back to the channel, and we are back with another technical analysis, this time on a Shiba coin on a daily time frame. Now, without further delay, as always, let's get straight to the point. So, as you can see, we have approached multiple times this major resistance zone on a daily time frame, which has formed since the end of the April, or the beginning of the April even. But nevertheless, we see that we are near the major resistance zone, and also we have this major support zone. So basically we have been bouncing from one side to another for the last couple of months, 5 months or something like this. So as we have approached this major resistance line, we had a very sharp rejection here, which resulted in basically a downward movement of 20%, which is huge. So with this sharp rejection, if we see any kind of potential movement to this upper zone again, then there is a chance of seeing a further movement to the upper zones, meaning a potential movement to this zone here, which is the liquidity zone for the Shiba coin. So this zone here and also this zone here. But it will happen only if we see any kind of movement, bullish movements toward this zone here, then there is a high chance of seeing a nice breakout, which has been holding the price for quite some time now. But if we see any kind of continuous downward movement here, then we will most likely go towards those 100 and 200 EMA, and then potentially again testing this support zone. And once we are near this support zone, there is a high chance of seeing a bullish movement, further continuous bullish movement, and potential moving finally to those zones here. So with giving a little better explanation, let me demonstrate to you. Meaning, if we see any kind of movement from here towards this zone here, meaning a retest to this same zone, resistance zone, there is a high chance of seeing a breakout happening near this zone here, and a continuous movement retesting this zone, and then movement to the upper zones, and then again to the upper zones. But if we see a weakness, meaning going something like this, so slightly downward movement or even sideways movement, then we will most likely go with slight decline to the lower support, meaning like this, and then like this. And once we reach this support zone, then of course we are going to long, most likely towards this major resistance zone, retest, and then movement to the upper zones. So the retest should happen to this zone here. The best entry points, so if we are going to look for a potential long zone, are going to be, let me put them like here. So the best long position or potential long position to be opened would be this zone here, and also this zone here. So once we see the retest either here or here, and of course once we reach this support zone, then we will look for a potential movement to the upper zones. But if we see a potential movement to the lower zones near this zone here, the best short position entries would be actually this zone here, meaning if we see a movement here, we will most likely see a potential movement to the upper zones. But if we will reject this zone, then this zone will turn into a potential nice entry towards the lower zones, of course. And the second good entry would be somewhere near here, meaning the first confirmational sideways or slightly downward movement. So anywhere here, let me draw it lightly here as well. So with that being said, we have multiple potentials to enter here, basically 5 potential entry zones. But the major factor is, if we zoom out, we see the price is way too oversold on a bigger time frame. If you go even on a weekly time frame, but you can see it on a daily time frame as well. So overall, like on a bigger time frame and the longer game plan here would be a potential movement, of course, to the upper zones. But currently we are zooming in on a smaller time frame, so here are the potential entries and potential movements to happen on the Shiba coin. So with that being said, as always, we hope you liked this very short technical analysis for today. And if you liked, as always, Feel free to subscribe, comment, and like. Stay smart, and see you in the next session.